Welcome back to Friday Crypto. My name is Chase, level 1 CMT and full-time trader. Today we're going to look at Bitcoin on the daily chart to start us off with. Then we may zoom out a little bit to the weekly, see what we have shaping up. We have support and resistance zones where we can look for invalidation to high and low. You always want to look at both sides. And that's about it. So let's get it going. If you want more content, consider following us on Patreon. You get access to a private Telegram group where we do much more content there every day. So let's get going here on the daily, right? We're kind of in the middle of these two zones. So we've lost support, our swing lows down here with a very bearish candle, right? When you break these zones that you've previously been at multiple times, and that is multiple times, if you have a outlandish candle, let's say, with no hesitation, that's no hesitation, right? Then very likely that is gone for a while. Would likely flip to resistance, right? Support for a long time, broken with conviction, likely flipping back to resistance. So that is our level. So all the bulls want to do is get back above like 41.7. That would get you back above all these moving averages in the next week or so. That would reclaim these swing lows being breached, and then we can maybe go out on our merry way. But until then, it's resistance. Right, so if we go up, if we bounce here, that would be where I would be, potentially entering either a short or exiting, some of the coins maybe you didn't exit all the way up here, right? With invalidation, saying that if we reclaim like 42K, right? If we go over 41.7 and we start to do that on multiple days, you'd want to be buying back in, right? Because that would be a kind of a deviation on the higher time frames and maybe just a fake out so far. So invalidation is right here. Otherwise, I think the odds are lower. So what we want to look for in the coming days is maybe a potential kind of a flag formation where we kind of just do something like this, where this is just a bounce and we're just going to run into maybe the EMA 8 or this zone up here and then just, continue on, said downtrend, right? So that is what I would be looking at. As for now, I don't see anything potentially that's saying we're about to rip through the ceiling, right? Okay, so having said that, our downwards zone here, right? We've seen this low wick, right? See this low wick and these high wicks. Well, that's not much, right? That's pretty weak. So what I would prefer to see is a little bit lower to remain healthy, right? We want Bitcoin to really kind of test something like this, right? And you see our 200-day way down here around 35.5. That gets a lot more of this liquidity zone back into focus here. So ideally, I'd really like to see Bitcoin do a healthy retest of somewhere in this zone, and then we can take it a step further, anywhere in here. So from 37, well, let's call it just under 38K, right? 38 to 35, right? Anywhere in there. And then we can start to talk for, the bulls, and maybe are we going to pick up more steam back to the upside? But until then, I think downtrend is here. Again, with invalidation right here, you always want to look at where you're wrong, right? And people that you're watching on YouTube that only say we're going down or only say we're going up without invalidation points are doing both themselves and you an injustice. So always look at both sides and where your thesis is incorrect. That's how any professional does it, and that's how you should be doing it, right? Follow the pros. Okay, so downwards trend until proven otherwise. Where are we proven otherwise? Again, beating a dead horse here, but something loosely fit to this. We could bounce here. We could bounce off the 200. We could go lower, but until we get down here, right, there's no need to focus on where could we go lower, right? Of course, but why focus on, months ahead when we haven't even, you don't need to look forward to Christmas until, in at the 4th of July, right? Let's get real. Right, we're talking about Christmas and it's 4th of July. These are bad analogies, I get it, right? But hopefully you catch my drift a little bit there, right? So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on, for the daily chart, those are the two zones. Even though, right, we've hit the top part of this, right, this little initial zone, but that's only just these little baby wicks. It's not much, right? You're reaching now. This is a much more solid zone with a key 200-day moving average, and look how many weeks we really are in here. Okay, so having said that, let's zoom out a little bit to the 3-day chart. You can see now, right, things happening that they haven't happened in a long time. So since October, right, let me adjust this here for you, right? Look at this uptrend, right? We really didn't even breach the EMA 8, right? And that was the really first warning sign we were looking for, and we got it right there on that candle back on, January 10th, right? With a, dark cloud cover, bearish engulfing, just does not look good. And we made videos telling you that's probably the local top, right? So why? It's no magic trick, right? It's interpreting candles. Stop focusing on price and look at the candles. The candles will tell you the story and what's likely to happen. That is a high conviction rate of a reversal in trend. Trend reversal signal right here. Okay, and now we closed just the last candle. 3-day candle just closed yesterday under the EMA 21 for the first time again since October. So here's one warning, right here. Close under the EMA 8, right? That giant behemoth. And then the second big warning, Jesus, great circling job. I don't specialize in circle jobs, okay? But those two right there, right? We closed under the 21, and that also took out these swing low zones, right? You see that? So all this stuff in context starts to paint a picture, right? It's not the one thing. It's not the one thing. It's all of it telling a story together is what really starts to increase your odds of X event or Y event happening. That's it. Okay, so having said that, is this still a good zone? Yeah, I think so. Right, looking at this area, you could even really, if you wanted to broaden your horizons here, you could bring it down even a little bit more, and you see like this initial hesitation right here down at 34. Let's call it 34, but we're still above the 100 and the 200. Right, those are still way below us here. But let's just, for S&Gs, let's picture how much farther down we could potentially be going. So 5% gets us to that zone. Additional 5% on Bitcoin, not too bad. Middle of that zone's 10%, and the bottom of that zone's 15%. So 5, 10, 15, right? That's not too bad, right? We looked at, our Chainlink video yesterday, we looked at market caps, and let's just go do that again, right? If we think that, on the weekly chart, let's look at where we could potentially be going, right? Our breakout level from our previous, local high in April. Well, that's, altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum included, right, is about 15%. So Bitcoin is obviously the king, right? Most market cap. So 15% gets us right to the bottom of that zone, is, mid 30s. That's fine. That's great, right? You shouldn't be panicking, right? We're in a bull market. Like, you can't have all of that without a little bit of that, right? It's not how it works. This is what we need. This is what we want. You don't want to just do that. It would be over, right? If we were at 65K in March, that would be it, right? That's too unhealthy. This is not what you want, right? What we're doing is exactly what we want. A big move up, consolidation after obvious warning shot on the weekly, right? Come back to the 21 week. That's a primary target right now, 37K roughly. And then, we'll decide what we're going to do from there, right? We got to look at the candles, see how it interacts with that. But that's my next step, the 21 week, and not really doing a whole lot of bullishness thinking until we tag that. So it's at 37.2 as of right now. Obviously we're looking at the daily chart, looking for any kind of potential bigger reversals. We'll keep you words are hard, updated every step of the way. So if you want more help, right, again, subscribe to our Telegram channel. All the links are below. We do all kinds of indicators and, helpful teachings in our Patreon group, alerts, all that kind of stuff. Look on DXY, stock market, your requests. So check that out if you're so inclined. Let's get to our quote of the day. I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse. It's a good quote. Car of the day, a Bentley. Now, this is a special edition. I'm not sure of the exact model because it's, like I said, I think this is a very rare one. And I'll show you why in a second. One, it's a drop top convertible. But two, look at, if I zoom in here, they got a golfer man on here. I think this was the Pebble Beach edition. Look at the seats, like the quilted. I mean, insane. This thing was insane looking in real life. I think it's the Continental GT convertible edition. This is a new one, but don't quote me on that. But also, I mean, just the car show. This car show, I try to go to this every year. It's coming up again in March. There's a Bentayga right over here, right? You see on the left. But look, if I zoom in here, the caliber of cars here. There's a Ferrari Enzo back here. I know it's a little fuzzy. Ferrari Enzo. That's just one of the rarest Ferraris ever. You got a STO Lamborghini right here in the white. You got a Lamborghini Miura, one of the first edition Lambos right here. You got a Ferrari SP2 Monza, which is stupid rare. That's why there's all those people. This is like pre-show, so I got to go in a little pre-show, so you can walk around and take pictures without 50 million people here. Then you have a Ford GT Heritage just hanging out by himself. I mean, if you know anything about cars, this is a pretty rare 5-6 cars here. We got Mustang Alley, like the old schools here. Look at all the 1960s Mustangs in the back. Excellent show. If you ever get to go to one, I would highly suggest it. This is the Concours d'Elegance, right? They have them on the West Coast and the East Coast of the United States. So I think California and then Amelia Island in Florida. So maybe I'll see you there. All right.